Well, good evening, fellow explorers. I almost said patriots because I'm so used to saying that. But anyway, for the FBI listening, there you go. Welcome,
Hi,
welcome,
everyone.
fellow patriots as well. Extremists.
Hello.
Um, Jennifer, as usual, welcome.
Thank you.
My
How are you?
brunette sister,
Yes. Yes. Fighting the
in
forces
case
of evil.
fighting. This is like we're living in one big giant clown car, and
Yeah.
we're all
Crazy.
like, it's just like this big line of clowns coming in and going out. And we certainly are under the big top right now. Hello, Kimberly, Casey, and everybody else that might be
Yes.
joining.
Nice to
Um,
see you, Casey, Kimberly.
yeah,
Nice,
Casey, it's
nice.
been a hot minute, so good to see you. Lady Knievel, of course, we need Lady Knievel. We need her extremist mentality as well.
I
Thank
love
you,
it.
thank you.
My two favorite extreme.
So, did you
We
ever
do
build
our
that?
best, Lady Knievel. We do our best.
Yeah,
Julie. Hey, Julie.
oh look, it's
Julie
Julie.
popped in. Hey, Julie.
Julie needs some cheering up. We'll tell you. I'll tell you later, but
Oh,
we'll,
okay.
we'll talk
Oh,
after. Well, you have your thing after. So anyway, so we have a little bit of a tight schedule tonight. So I think we should be able to get through most of this stuff. I usually have a ton of stuff, and we normally don't get through all
I
of it
love
anyway because of the discussion and that kind of stuff. So, but
it.
we have everything from a 146-year-old Indonesian man all the way to Mars Company enslaving children in other countries to get their cocoa. But other than that, we've got all kinds of stuff. We got everything in between. Of
Mhm.
course, I always have something about giants, maps, got old maps, even
Nice.
got orphan train stuff today.
Oh,
Um, and I know, Jennifer, you know something about the orphan trains. Got some unique
little
pictures.
bit. Yeah,
And
touched it a bit.
we talked about, frequencies and resonance and that kind of stuff. So I went back and dug up some of my old Bell pictures and that kind of stuff because I
Okay.
really think there's something to that. And I
Mhm.
noticed it was weird. I had something pulled a couple days ago, an image from a
Mhm.
scroll or something from Babylon. And it's
Mm.
weird, on your show last night you mentioned either you or whoever that video that was playing was talking about Babylon.
Oh yeah,
And I'm
right.
like, pardon my French, but I'm like, holy shit. This Jennifer's gonna flip when I show her this.
Uh-oh,
That's
get ready.
exactly what I thought. Hey Tim.
Hey,
Tim's
Tim.
a Tim is not, at least I don't know. We're not directly related. He has the same
Oh,
last
really?
name. We
Now
met for
that,
lunch.
are you
We met for
sure?
lunch today.
You
He
did?
lives he lives in the area here. We're not, his family on his dad's side, I think, is from the same, sort of the same area in Virginia where my dad's family's from. He's about an hour and a half south of there. So
Sweet.
kind of met on Facebook kind of thing and just
Nice.
was local
Welcome,
here.
Tim. That's
So
so
Tim,
neat.
yes.
Like to see. I was like, is this your brother? What's going on?
No, I don't know where my brother is. But anyway,
Oh, okay.
that's another story.
Mhm.
So I'm going to show you this image. And we've talked about Babylon before, and we've talked about Sumerians, we've talked about ancient technology and that kind of stuff, and in biblical texts, especially cuneiform and that kind of thing.
Right.
So it totally blew me away last night when you guys were talking about, or it was in that video that was playing last night. Um,
Oh wow.
so
Okay.
I'm going to start off with this instead of a meme, which I usually start off with. But I know you guys are jonesing for the memes. So, but anyway, this image right here.
Oh, wow.
Does this look like anything from modern times?
Yeah.
Does this look like anything from modern times? This was on, I can't, it was a, not a, uh, it wasn't on a tablet. It was, there's a specific name for it. Let me see if I wrote it down here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here it is. Babylonian cylindrical seal.
Oh,
A nu-
yes, those. Yeah.
nuclear bomb in Babylon cylindrical seal. This was according to this, 600 BCE. So we'll come back to that. But when I saw this image, because I had never seen this image before,
Wow.
it it looks like some dude literally dropping the bomb, like his hands held out, like there's a nuclear bomb. Because if you look at the modern, bomb that was used on Hiroshima, I shouldn't say
Right.
modern, but the bomb that was used in
Well,
Hiroshima.
yeah, you're right.
Um,
It's modern history.
But you have like a depiction of a mushroom cloud with these arrows coming out of the mushroom cloud.
Wow.
Like either radiation or debris, whatever that represents. So then I found this little clipping here. I couldn't find a lot on it, so take it with a grain of salt. So it says Babylon cylinder seal from 600 BCE shows nuclear bomb and explosion made during era of Nebuchadnezzar. Because you guys were talking about Nebuchadnezzar. That video mentioned specifically Nebuchadnezzar destroying Babylon. And I saw this image and I'm like, you have to be kidding me. This is crazy.
That is, wow. That's deep that you would come across this to further, like, just expand the thought. Like, we are just so in store for many more surprises, I think.
You get Joseph, our friend from across the pond from Ireland. Yes, how you doing, Joseph?
Hey, Joseph. Joseph, yay, you're here.
Whose birthday is it? It says it's your birthday, Jen. Happy birthday. Is it your birthday?
Yeah, well, yeah. It's Rosh Hashanah. It is the Feast of Trumpets.
But is it your birthday?
You. Yeah. It
what are you, like 29 now or something like that?
Yes, you know.
You've been living since the 1800s. She's like a vampire or something, but she keeps taking over the identities of dead children or whatever and just keeps living on in this weird little shack down in southern Georgia or whatever.
That's funny. Right. You found me out.
But when I heard Nebuchadnezzar, and I immediately made me think of this image, and I'm like, because I had pulled this for the show already earlier in the week.
Oh, you did? Okay, so because I'm thinking, wow, your memory made you think of this, because I'm thinking you have millions of pictures like me.
Well, no, like since I knew we were, Monday was coming up, I'm trying. I have a folder that I keep putting new. Like I changed the date for the date of the show, and then I'll just take whatever images and things I'm using for that show, and I'll put them in that date folder. And this was the image I put in, the first image in this folder for this week.
Are you serious?
And
that's so crazy, because as soon as you show this, you can tell the shape of that bomb. It's just like what we've grown to see in movies. Didn't they call it Little Fat Boy, one of them?
Something like that. And it's not a suppository, right? So, and this isn't an exploding Roman toilet or something, with
it's an apple tree where the apples just shoot out of the
right. It's the latest thing in Babylon. It's the shooting apples, the laser apples, just like the laser shark or whatever.
Wow.
So I came across this dude. His name is Sadameho, who was known locally as Mba Goto, was born in December 1870. Sragen, or however you pronounce that, Indonesia, died in 2017, aged 146.
Oh, wow.
Again, don't know how true this is, but I stumbled across this and it seemed legit, but I always like people have these little hairs that grow from their chin like that. Just kind of, I mean, you can see that there.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Those are the hairs of 146-year-old people. That's all I got to say.
Wow. Amazing. And
Joseph just has a great point here. Joseph has a great point. Is it a giant with the bomb? Another thought. You know what? Because you remember our buddy Gilgamesh from Babylon in that time period, the race of giants.
Of course.
So yeah, Joseph.
See, Joseph always brings you back to the right. That is so true.
Here's that picture. Hold on, let me look here.
Yes, look at that. Makes a big difference, Joseph, to think about it that way.
Yeah, because if you look, because this is a tree supposedly standing behind this dude here.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like he's almost as tall as the tree. So yeah, hey, that's a good observation.
It really is.
Never thought of that.
Yes, that's really something to remember.
Yeah. And if you want to see what a 146-year-old Indonesian driver's license looks like, not that driver's license
for still having him have to take a picture. I think after a certain age, you shouldn't have to do this stuff.
It looks like Weekend at Bernie's. like they're
Oh,
propping this guy up for the picture.
yeah. He does seem like he doesn't want to be there taking that picture.
But
He
he's
wants to
enjoying life,
focus
man. Look,
on
he's just he
yeah.
doesn't
This
have
is
any
what he
teeth.
wants to do.
He's smoking away.
Yeah, that's what he wants to do.
Indonesia, you don't have any care. You don't have any cares. You just got to keep some food on the table. You got to
Oh yeah,
sit out
Indonesia.
on the front porch and just kind of wave to your neighbors as they walk by. And
It's good living over there. It's very inexpensive. Like, and they grow. Look, it's like you walk around and it's pineapples growing wild. You don't have. I mean, you can eat off the land.
well, yeah, I mean, if you know what you're doing and you're a native to that area, I'm sure you could get by without having an income. Like you could
Oh
just
yeah, you don't need one.
survive. Just
Yeah, it's
build your
good.
little houses, your huts, or because they build a lot in Indonesia, near Bali. At least they build. Because one of my friends moved to Bali back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and
oh nice, wow.
The house he built, the first house he built, was up on stilts because apparently a lot of their houses are up on stilts, and it was a beautiful, beautiful house. But he started to quickly realize that his money went a long way, so he built this gigantic, like regular construction type house.
Oh really? Nice.
And he was one of my fellow like monitor lizard breeder friends, and
I see.
so he has like a reptile park basically in his backyard. He still breeds monitor lizards specifically, and
wow, look at that! And that's a great place to
Joseph.
do something like that. That's right, Joseph. He says,
"Where's Karen at? Where's
oh yeah, where's Karen?
Where's Karen? She should be passing them out. What are you doing?" I'm going to send her to the back of the class if she doesn't show up.
That's funny.
Karen, I know you're out there somewhere.
Somewhere she'll tap in.
Somewhere. And I'm going to touch on this since Joseph brought giants up again. We know how much I got to talk about giants. I'm always talking about giants.
Right.
I think we mentioned this on a previous show, but Mr. Abraham Lincoln, when he was giving a talk by Niagara Falls, I don't remember what year it was, but let me read what he stated, at least in this paragraph. Because I think he was dedicated to Niagara Falls or something. But still there is more. It calls up the indefinite past when Columbus first sought this continent, when Christ suffered on the cross, when Moses led Israel through the Red Sea, nay, even when Adam first came from the hand of the Maker, then as now, Niagara was roaring here. The eyes of that species, this is the sentence, the eyes of that species of extinct giants whose bones fill the mounds of America have gazed on Niagara, as ours do now. Contemporary with the first race of men, I love that. Contemporary meaning contemporaries of the first race of men, and older than the first man. Niagara is strong and fresh today as 10,000 years ago. So this sentence here, the eyes of that species of extinct giants whose bones fill the mounds of America have gazed on Niagara. So
that's
there you go.
Fascinating. Niagara is probably something to look into now. You have sparked my interest. Something that gets overlooked, right? But I hear it's amazing. I've never been. Have you?
I've never been there either. I've been by there, but I've never actually been there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they want to get stuffed in a barrel and tossed over or something. But
didn't Evel Knievel do one of these?
he's something. Yeah, Lady Knievel.
She could let us know.
Was evil. He had to. Anything that had whatever. He jumped everything. He was. The dude was an Evel Knievel, man. He jumped everything. All right, here's the bell thing. We're going to go back to the bells.
Oh, nice.
The importance of acoustic resonance. They destroyed most of the bells as they were creating an important vibration along with the frequency and symmetry of the structure. And to go back to what we've talked about before. Hey, Molly Moose. How you doing?
Molly. Hey, Molly. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, so sweet.
We had brought up the fact that during the war that they took all the bells, a lot of the churches, and anywhere that had a bell, they took them out. So I'm going to read this and then kind of go through some images. The overall range of resonant frequencies of the human body was found to be between 4 and 16 hertz. Electrical conduction allows the movement of electrically charged particles within the body, and that flow produces our life force. Life itself, as we know it, is inextricably intertwined with geometric shapes, from the angles of atomic bonds in amino acid molecules to the helical spirals of DNA. They clearly knew how important sound and frequency was to humans. And then we also showed those like bell structures, like those like buildings that look like bells that like you can walk into, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wow.
Let's see. Over time, we got even more disconnected from our energy force, causing us to live in a low frequency and vibrational field. This makes us more susceptible to illness, and also means we need constant sustenance from food. So, and again, full disclosure, I get a lot of this stuff from Tartarian History Channel, just FYI.
Okay,
so.
That's so fascinating when you think about it. Like, oh my, oh look at this, how beautiful.
So, and this is like I think a place where they build bells. This picture here, but I find some of these pictures interesting with the people, because we always love these 1800s pictures. I mean, I love those pictures. So this one, let's see here. This one kind of shows where they're just kind of haphazardly just thrown in a pile, like they were taken and just thrown in this like bell graveyard.
Right.
And this depiction just kind of shows like how the frequency, how the resonance moves from like once the bell struck, how it moves out from the tower or from the bell. So that even in India, especially India, the bell shape or the bell structure has a lot of significance. And like here's another one of those bell graveyards. Wow. It's like, why would they do that? What did they know that made them take the bells out of the churches?
Right. You know? What are they made out of, the bells? Like the one that's cracked up there, it almost looks like ceramic, right? Some sort of ceramic.
It looks that way, but some metal, if it's not forged correctly, if you strike, it'll crack if you strike it.
Okay, I see. Okay, just like the one in Philly, right?
Yes, exactly like the one in Philly. The John Bell.
The John. I had to go to field class trips all the time to see that bell.
See the Liberty Bell? Did you go to Independence Hall?
All the time. It was like this was what you did growing up in my era. We were there for school field trips constantly.
Was the Fresh Prince there?
Probably. Probably wasn't so fresh.
A rap song about Jenny the John. Let's see here. Oh, this is still about that. Oh, this is actually a better picture of that.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
That piece, that whole depiction, like
That's amazing.
And the cylinder.
Yes, those cylinders are fascinating. You know, when I was looking into Gilgamesh and all of the cylinders, and just to think about, like, you know, we have credit cards. Remember they had the embossed, isn't that what you call when it's raised, like your letters?
Oh yeah, yes.
Raised. Yes. It's almost like Braille. So these cylinders have like a whole, I guess, a scene on each one. If you roll it out, you'll have.
I'm not 100% familiar with them, but I know the idea of them is that you put it on a soft surface like clay or whatever, and you just roll it out, and it's like a repeating pattern. So, and I'm not sure how the seam looks on there, where it's like, I guess any kind of woven fabric, there's always going to be a repeat at some point, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Having been in the furniture business, I always had to, when I sold stuff and was selling certain types of fabrics, I had to be conscious of how the repeat was, and so how it would lay on the sofa, how it would look, like where the seams would be, because that would determine how many yards it took to make it. And like some stripes and plaids had different repeats than other types of fabrics, and some use more fabric, some use less fabric, but if the people didn't care, then the repeat was wherever it landed. And
interesting stuff. It's kind of like, yeah, when they had the signet ring too. It's like that's their almost
Yes.
logo, right?
Yeah, it was like their family crest, and they used it to seal official documents, like communications from one family to another, or whatever the case was. And it was
Right.
usually like they had to melt the. It wasn't waxed; it was some kind of resin. They would
Mhm.
melt it, and it was when it was hot. Then they would put the signet in it to
Mhm.
seal it. But Joseph
Wow.
asked a good question. How did they make those gigantic bells back then?
Oh yeah.
From my understanding, I'm not a bell expert, but from my understanding, depending on most of them were cast. So like they would dig out sand or dig out an area and create the shape in the sand. And then so there would be like two halves to it, basically. And so you would put both, once you had both halves created, you put it together, and then you had a method of pouring the molten metal, whether it was iron or whatever it was,
Mhm.
into that mold, and then after a certain period of time it would harden, and then you could knock off the sand or the casting. And some castings were clay, so they could reuse them, or other types of material. So you'd always get consistent shapes or consistent sizes and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And there was always casting marks, so like you'd have like a seam, like, so they would always have to grind those down or whatever, so you would kind of hide it a little bit. But I think most of them were cast, and that's why that one's cracked, because a lot of castings are imperfect,
Okay.
like with temperature fluctuations, and they may not have let it sit long enough or whatever the case was. So
Wow.
again, I'm not a bell side. You would think I am just by the way I said that, but I play one on TV.
Yes, he's a bell expert. Lady Knievel says hell's bells.
Hell's bells, that's right, hell's bells.
Oh no.
And I found this commercial, this Frigidaire commercial, and I just love old commercials. And then when I watched it, I'm like, this refrigerator is freaking better than the refrigerator I have right now. Listen to this commercial. Listen to this commercial.
Uh-oh.
In your Frigidaire cold pantry, there's a place for all your food. Fresh and frozen, canned, bottled, and wrapped, new bought and leftover. They're all right there, and they're all at your fingertips. Let's start with the most ingenious door in any refrigerator. It has special places for bottles, spreadable butter, cheeses, even leftovers, and a big picture window hydrator for fruits and vegetables.
What?
Down to show you your supply at a glance. And it also lifts out. So you can
No.
when there's a fresh supply to be washed and put away. But that's just the door. Think of all you can store in here on these big firm shelves that roll all the way out to you, so you can get at the food and back without moving anything in front. And how about your frozen things? Oh yes, there's a place for them too, in this big food freezer. Even your ice cubes have a special place for storage, right here. And watch how they get there. You just take out a tray, turn it over, and push. You get a shower of ice cubes, all frosty dry and ready to use. See all the wonderful ideas in this Frigidaire cold pantry at your own Frigidaire dealer.
Frosty dry ice cubes. I love my frosty dry ice cubes.
Yes, I like my ice cubes frosty and dry. I never thought about it, but she is fabulous as a salesperson. I want this refrigerator, please.
Yeah, I don't have a refrigerator that has like that vegetable tray thing that has the
That
window
is
on it that pulls out.
fabulous.
There's Karen. Karen, you're late.
Karen. Karen.
They already started passing out blunts and whatever. You're in the back of the class. Hello, Karen. Good to see you.
Nice to see you, Karen. Greetings. Oh, I want this refrigerator though.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I would have this refrigerator now. It's like there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh my good, it's just so ergonomic. Everything. I know they make new ones now, and everybody's done the drawer. Have you all tried the drawer at the bottom of the freezer? But avocado green, of course, lady.
That's right. You can't. It either had to be some kind of weird orangish yellow or avocado green, or just
they always had to burn
white.
the orange, right? They would call it burnt orange. Why do you burn the orange?
Yeah. Why you gotta be hating on the orange? like, I'm going to skip over a couple things because I know you'll flip out when you see this next thing. I know you'll start hyperventilating or giggle snorting or something. You'll do some kind of crazy stuff. Because I know this is right up your alley. And this goes back again to the 1800s, but this is on Coney Island. Okay. So keep the backdrop, keep the setting in mind. Coney Island. Picture yourself in the 1800s or around the turn of the century, Coney Island. You got the little Ferris wheel, whatever things going, and you got crazy carnival monkeys flying around and doing whatever, and people's whatever. Just so imagine being in Coney Island, and
Nathan's hot dogs.
This is an actual thing that was on Coney Island.
Oh my goodness!
The incubator babies of Coney Island.
This is so bizarre.
And this isn't like a row of sandwiches at Subway or something where they got the buns buns in the oven. There you go. Look at this dude's hat. First of all, what the hell is going on with that dude's hat?
Yeah, that's
seriously.
It's different. I'll say this is so disturbing. By the way, this whole
and these are real babies. By the way, these aren't loaves of bread or fake kids. These are real babies.
Yeah, they were real babies, and guess whose father was one of the incubator babies? You can look
Kamala Harris.
No, but none other than what is his name? Jerry. What was his name? Gosh, the Jerry something.
Springer?
No, the other Jerry, funny Jerry who had the show.
Oh, Jerry Lewis.
Seinfeld.
Oh. Jeez, there's another Jerry. I said Jerry Lewis. You're like,
is it Jerry Seinfeld?
Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
His dad was one of the incubator babies, allegedly.
Really?
Yeah.
That explains some things, but
he said it on like one of his, I don't know, he does like these little whatever shows, like online little things, driving around with coffee or something. I don't know. He does something like that, but you got a salad bowl like
Lady Keagle's got salad bowl like his hat. I think we all do.
Yeah. It's really it's probably a cool looking hat, but yeah, the incubator babies. This is now I have a different way now that I can look at some of this stuff that it wasn't making sense before, but now I'm
look at the sign in the building. This wasn't a small deal. This was a big deal if you had this kind of a presence on the boardwalk. And of course, they've got their top hats, and look at he's got his cane, and they've got their finest on. They were always walking around in their finest clothes. You never saw them wearing like flannel or whatever other. They were always wearing their finest. Maybe that's all they had was their finest. Who knows? But and then you've got like a train conductor looking dude here. He looks like he's got like one of those German monocles. Like it's like he's a mad scientist, and he's the one holding the baby.
Mm-hmm.
You got this guy over here. He's probably going to do an exorcism or something. He's got like the Bible or something in his hand there. This dude looks like he's about ready to shoot up the place. Looks like, I don't know. So anyway, this dude's pointing at something like, "Oh, look, hidden camera. Put that baby away."
Wow, isn't that bizarre? And it
is,
kind of looks like
bizarre.
Disney. Doesn't it look like Disney? Like the entry makes you think of like when you're downtown Disney World. Does that?
Yes. Life at Epcot Center. It reminds me of Epcot Center in Disney.
Yeah.
Where they have the different sections of the world in the United States and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Life begins at the baby incubator.
Oh, can we check with Stacey Abrams? Because she might not agree.
Well, they're probably more than 6 weeks old or something, but that life begins at the baby. This is real shit that happened. This isn't
so
fake.
Bizarre. This is so weird.
And look at this. And this is at a different time later. You jump forward into the 20s or whatever, 30s, 40s, whatever time period this picture is in. This is obviously the building's been renovated. This is a new sign. Baby incubators with living babies. Once seen, never forgotten, I bet.
It's
it's
so
like,
disturbing. It's so disturbing. Like when I first learned of these and saw some, you have found more pictures of it. Like I haven't seen this many, but they showed them inside one of the Coney Island things. And
mhm.
it is so disturbing to think that that's all we have. Even we didn't know about them, but still it raises too many questions, right? It's like, can we start with where did the babies come
Well,
from?
we know where the political leaders that are ruling the world right now came from. So
True. You're right.
from
This
from a
is
carnival incubator,
no, I believe this is
like
how
Joseph says, incubator babies at a carnival seems about right. Absolutely.
I think this is how they infiltrated with this is now I
Yes,
have
people
to go
purchased
back.
the babies too. They did purchase the babies.
Yes, they purchased, oh gosh.
Casey's like, yeah, we have to have incubator babies on a boardwalk.
Right? Doesn't Casey, isn't that weird? It's like, oh, it's so skeevy to think that they were doing all this like to get and imagine like this was not that long ago, everyone. Can we just
No, this wasn't. I mean, but you
was
never
not
hear about. I never heard about it. I'm 56 years old and never heard about this until I ran across this.
they were able to hide this from us. Like, imagine what else. Oh my
Squirrel, keep you distracted. We're going to
Yeah.
teach you crap in school that might get you a job, and you might be able to balance your checkbook and crap like that. You'll have babies. You'll have a car. You might go to college, but you'll rinse and repeat. You'll be so busy you'll never be able to pay attention to the real world.
Mhm.
And keeping in line with this crazy kids and orphans and babies theme. So I jumped into the orphan trains again. For those of you that don't know the orphan trains, we'll probably do a whole episode on the orphan trains, but I don't want to get into the entire background because we don't have a lot of time today. But we talk, if you know about the mud flood, and we talked about how people like there's like a reset, like how people just like a civilization just literally vanished, but the structures were still there, but there was nobody to inhabit the structures. And then suddenly there was where people just started appearing. A lot of people seemed disoriented and stuff. And then you had all these orphans showing up, like these kids that had no parents, just showing up everywhere. So the unfortunate thing is a lot of these kids were used as slaves and slave labor. So I have a few images of these kids, these orphan trained kids. And I found out a lot of these kids, especially like in New York and Chicago, are cities that had a lot of hubbub, or metropolitan areas. They use these kids as chimney sweeps because a lot of them were small enough to drop down the chimney. They literally would like put them on these chains or these ropes, and they drop them down the chimneys.
Yeah.
This kid looks kind of interesting, though. I thought this guy looks like Benny Hill. First of all, if you know who Benny Hill is,
He does. He does.
but this dude here looks like if a monkey were to become a person, like an organ grinder monkey were to become a person. That's what this kid reminds me of. Sorry, kid, whoever you are. I'm not
No,
sure.
the kids of that time, one thing that I noticed when I was looking into this, the kids looked like they were grown. Like they had a hardness of like life already. You could look at their faces. They're working. First, they're overworking the children. And
Yes, they're
the
overworked.
children, they'll have cigarettes and they're smoking. Have you noticed that? They're like real tough kids. And you know what? I have to say, I know this doesn't sound right, but if they're overworking kids and they're smoking cigarettes, I'm just saying back then,
That reminds me of the picture that I show with the kid riding the tricycle with the beer can and the cigarettes. Like,
like, if you're doing this to the kids, I can kind of understand they will develop habits like that, like grown people have it. So I can't really like look at them in the same way that I look at a kid now with a cigarette. I'd be like, okay, well,
yes.
This is just horrendous right here to think that these children are used as labor, and they were the paper. The Newsies, the Newsboys.
The Newsies. I'm gonna show up an image that has the Newsies in it. That's funny.
Really?
You should bring that up.
They were the ones smoking the Newsies, and I was just like, "Oh my god, these children are smoking."
These kids knew what was going on around the town. Like, if you want to know what's going on, these kids knew what was going on. These newsy kids that were peddling the newspapers and stuff, they knew what was going on. They were connected. But Julie says it was Mary Poppins esque.
Yes, Julie, that's what. Oh, all those things came from somewhere, right, Julie? Like Mary Poppins, and my favorite was Pippi Longstockings. Who did not like Pippi Longstockings?
Pippi Longstockings.
I
Lady
loved,
Knievel.
like, I loved. Oh, my mother would take me to see Pippi Longstockings like matinees all the time.
Yeah, Lady Knievel looks like he's trying to get ready to throw him in a well. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. That's the chimney, and you can see this clearly. See the chain attached to the kid there, and it looks like he's like, "You better look at my face, look at my eye. You better come back. You better not like." And like he's like, and it's like he's holding the kid's ear, and he's like making him look at him. He's got this harness on with this chain here. And he's literally getting ready to be dumped down the chimney.
Oh my goodness, so cringy. Like to think that, and then we put seatbelts and all kinds of net pads on kids. Now they're throwing them down chimneys, and probably the kid has a cigarette as he's going down the chimney. Right?
Karen just hit it on the head. Karen, you're reading my freaking mind. Karen, you're gonna love this picture, Karen.
Oh yeah, you know Karen. She know. We
only ask for justice. We want to go to school. We want our share. More school, less hospital. We are protected by a tariff.
Less hospital? Yes. Wait a minute. More school, less hospital? Now, wait a minute. See, John finds the most amazing. Like, you really have taken me back to this. Like, we need to explore this more.
OSHA rules.
Imagine all the OSHA fines they would get if they were trying to do this today. I need to know what this less hospital is. Would that be the asylums? Maybe the asylums?
Yeah, possibly, because they did have, in addition to the orphanages, they experimented on kids, and they had a lot of these mental health, what they called mental health, asylums, and which had a really, obviously, if back then if it had a negative connotation, I can only imagine what happened in these places. I can only imagine what happened in these places.
Okay, I'm going to say something very unpopular, okay? You guys are probably like, yeah, no, like, when do you not do that? But
she doesn't have the spoon, so don't worry.
Oh, yeah, the spoon is not within reach right now. But I just want to say this for someone to consider and tell me if it's really out there. But what we see right now with the flooding of the borders with, we'll call them undocumented asylum seekers. Let's play along. I see this as the same thing. You know, we talk about rinse and repeat agendas. Yeah. See, the weird part about the 1800s that I'm realizing is like they're doing a rinse and repeat, or they're attempting to, because they were able to get away with hiding the 1,000 years or whatever they did. And this 1800s thing may just be part of the 1900s. Like, I'm just saying, but
well, it's like Jason Brashear says, like every 138 years, it seems like it's like a reset, like every 138 years.
It makes so much sense, you know, his information, and then thinking about what they're doing now it's a reset time for them, and they're flooding the country with lots of people. And I believe this is what they were doing too, because we need to know on the other side of 1800s, what happened? Like, what were they up to? Because that's what I'm thinking. If you all think it might be true too, that this is what they did, they flooded, and they wanted children, because children are like, you can get a lot more accomplished. That's why they're sending young people across our borders now. I'm just saying. There you are.
Well, there's a lot to it. And when you start a color revolution, which this is exactly the beginnings of a color, or the attempt of a color revolution, one of the first stages is to dilute the population, to dilute the already naturalized local population. So it loses its identity. So you don't have all these patriotic alpha males running around the country. You have all these people from all these different cultures, and they're kind of blended, and nobody gives a shit about, like, they don't have a good idea what it is to be an American patriot, like in 1776 or whatever. So you've taken that away from people. You've taken away the alpha male. You have all these soy boys and all these people that are just so thankful to have a place to live. So you have, the more people like this you put and flood into the country, the less resistance you have down the road to any tyrannical type of,
Yes, that's a good point because children, and see, this is what Hitler said about the Hitler Youth. And I know I've jumped all the way there because that's where I am Joseph, with the Nazis.
No,
I'm
Joseph
right
was there. Joseph was there before you.
Yeah, yep. I'm right there, Joseph. And the Hitler Youth and the camps and the scouts and all the origins of that. And Hitler said, "Give me your youth, and then I'll have." Was it him or Stalin? They were probably all the same people. Actually, we probably just think there were all these many people. They were probably just one person playing that role. But
This is interesting.
Oh, Lierens 144. I love that name. We knew someone. We had a Lierens back in 2020. We had a Lierens. I wonder if that's the same Lierens. Hey,
could be. But Lierens says, "I've read that the kids, orphans, were part of a cloning hybrid program," and this goes back to Joseph's point, like the boys from Brazil, but before the boys from Brazil, before it was a thing, allowing the consciousness of dead people to live on, artificial immortality. Giants transferred their consciousness. You know, this Lierens, you bring up, is that how you pronounce it, Lierens? But you bring up that last part, you bring up a good point, because I've thought about this thing here about, we talked about, and it's been talked about, almost every culture, ancient culture, has the concept of the watchers, the fallen angels, the watchers, the, you know, whatever you want to call them, coming from heaven, being cast out, whether it was from their superiors, from God, from whatever, breeding with whatever they thought human women were great. So then they had all these weird beasts and giants and weird offspring, but they were supposedly immortal beings or divine beings. So since we technically don't have a race of giants or races of giants, that is an interesting concept, that they maybe found a way to transfer their consciousness into normal bodies or into human bodies as opposed to giants. So very, very astute point. I love that point.
Thank you for that. And hello to Joanne. Hey.
Yes, Joanne, how you doing?
Wow.
The gang's all here tonight. Look at that. The gang is all here.
Good points being made. Wow, we're figuring this stuff out together, because it does feel like we're in an escape room or something, and we're working together. Right?
That's exactly what it feels like. You know, this matrix is an escape room. That's, look how popular they are now too. You know,
that's right.
But they can't figure out the real world, but they can figure out an escape room. It's like, you know,
right, there you go.
Come on. Right. This is a proud child labor person, apparently, and doesn't have a cigarette, but
he probably already smoked on his break.
He probably didn't make it.
Proud child. I was like, don't say Proud Boys. Don't start that. No.
Oh yeah, geez, don't even go there.
Don't go there.
Wow, that picture's small. Geez, what the heck?
Oh yeah.
So you got a blurry picture of some kids on a train. We'll skip that one. But look at the expressions on some of these. Like this kid here, especially, looks like Billy Joel when he was young or something.
Yeah. These children look so traumatized. They have a look of it's something. When I look at their faces, it's very disturbing. Whatever they're going through, it's a lot of trauma.
Yeah, and these are like the we'll just put it in quotes, orphan trained kids here. So I don't know. And then what was that movie? Can I have more porridge, please? Or whatever.
Oh yeah, Oliver Twist.
Yeah, something like that. This is from that time period.
Yeah, it's all the same. Yeah, this is all around London. Like, that's why they had all those little stories about these type of children, like Orphan Annie. Remember this? And
yes, absolutely.
It's like a trope. Yeah, they got us to like it in terms of, let's turn it into a trope, an entertaining trope, right? Yeah, they look like tiny adults. They really do. They look world weary, don't they? Like they just have been through a lot.
Karen says, I don't even know how to tell people what I just found out 2 days ago about myself, but this upload is deep and I now can relate. Wow. Oh, Karen, really? you'll have to tell us about that, Karen.
Yes, Karen. We need to know if you want to share. Wow. You found out 2 days ago? Really? Oh boy.
And yeah, Charles Dickens, exactly. The whole
Oh
orphan
yes,
narrative.
that's right.
Yes.
The whole new orphan narrative. Yes. And that way I can see by making it entertaining, it took our analytical of like we won't look into this and like really want to
Right.
find out because we grew up and it was so cute. I wanted to be Pippi Longstockings. Can you imagine? I was like, this is fun.
I wanted to be
Who would that be?
freaking G.I. Joe. But
Oh, but it kind of seemed like she was having so much fun. I loved when she was in the big mansion and she's
yes.
there scrubbing the floors. Remember she put the little scrub brushes on her feet? I tried that once. It was
Well,
like
even the Disney movie, the Disney story, the one with the glass slipper.
Cinderella.
Because wasn't she an orphan? Like,
Oh yeah,
she
true.
was in with the sisters and the mother of the sisters. She wasn't in the family.
Evil yeah. That's the Disney sort of blueprint, is to separate the child from the parent. So you have an orphan. That's their blueprint. It's like Bambi, rinse and repeat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they weren't big on the family unit in Disney. They still aren't, to be honest with you.
They still aren't. And that's something that I hope people wake up to, but unfortunately they still have a grip on people. But that one thing alone is disturbing enough that they always isolate the child, whatever, if it's a lion, or anything, little cub. It's all like always Kimba. Oh, that wasn't Disney, but I'm just saying it's always something. I grew up with this little thing, Kimba. But yeah, it's
so they started. I'm going to use the word again, FBI people, groomer. They started the whole grooming thing early. Yep. Joseph nailed it here too. It's like they were all orphans in every story. They want, for whatever reason, the powers that be wanted people to feel this orphan narrative. And it's for whatever purpose that was for, instead of promoting strong, healthy family units, which should tell you something about, like, why aren't you promoting healthy family units? Why aren't you promoting, and you even, like, if you look at today's advertising, almost every magazine ad that has kids or whatever always has either just the mother, and most of them just have the mothers. You never see the father in the ad.
Nope.
Or a gay couple.
Yeah. If you see the dad, the kids are always smarter than the dad. The wife is always real sassy, and dad is like, he's like, okay, yeah, everybody, the dog is smarter than the dad. It's like, I don't like that. I didn't like when I started seeing that sort of thing taking over, because now we see where it's led us to the attack of the dad and to get him out of the home.
They don't want the alpha male figure. They don't want a strong male figure, because at some point they want to get rid of, again, they want all these soy boys and all these effeminate men who are like attached to their feminine side or whatever, because they know they'll never own guns. They know they'll never fight back. Like the soy boys won't form an army and a militia and fight back against the tyrannical government. They don't want those.
Yeah, unless they're used to destroy, like they did with Antifa. I think those are a lot of orphans too. They were saying that about a lot of the Antifa young people. They don't have family structure. Of course they don't. They wouldn't be out there doing all that stuff. But they're able to.
Most of them are weak. If you stand up to them, they back down. They just expect people to take it.
Yep. We saw that where people were standing up to them. And, people had to, because they tore up Portland and Seattle so badly that if those people, and I know they didn't stand up as strongly as they could have, they probably left a lot of people.
Yes. Karen, you nailed it on the head, because it all starts with the children, because they are the purest form and they're the closest to God. Absolutely.
Bingo. That's it, Karen. And that's why they're after children right now. Like they are really like after the children. And we've told the people, we've warned them that they wanted the children. And it's the same agenda, the children. And again, Hitler had a whole army of children, and they would call Hitler's youth.
Yes.
And I believe that, yeah, this was a whole program to flood out countries and then have their army of children. And think about, they could grow up almost like Manchurians, you know?
Yes.
And that's what I heard. They program those children, like, you know, to act a certain way, to
Mm-hmm.
give up their country, you know, their fatherland, motherland, whatever they called it, but don't think about your country. So it's like an erase, like a memory erase. They don't,
Yes.
they don't have a lot of memory when you think about it. So children are like a clean slate. They don't have to be reprogrammed at all.
Yeah, and kids don't have that strong patriotic connection to their country. And so if you can beat that out of them figuratively early, they'll never develop it. And so if you can eliminate the next generation, and they've been trying to do that forever, they've been trying to eliminate the next generation, taking them out of the picture, you know, and you could see how early it started with, you know, again, getting rid of the idea of a family unit, that it's okay to be an orphan, or it's okay to be a kid from a single parent or whatever. But keeping in the theme of children, I came across this too. Mars is being sued for using illegal child slave labor to make their woke M&Ms and other candy. And, you know, Mars makes a bunch of different candy. And again, keeping in line with this whole idea of child labor, exploitation. You know, they're working out in these fields where they're collecting the cocoa and everything. And
that's so disturbing.
All these processing areas where they, you know, roast the beans and that kind of stuff. And so
this is good to know, because if we're going to be mindful about our food, I mean, I love chocolate. I don't eat M&Ms anymore because of all the colorings and things, but I used to eat, you know, the candy from Mars M&M. And just to think that they're out here doing this, yet they were all in cahoots in 2020 to destroy the world with the lockdown. They all like ganged up against we the people, these corporations. That's how I look at it.
That's another segue. I have a meme that's exactly that. So that's
really?
in for today. That's in for today.
Are you serious?
I swear to God.
It always happens, right, John?
Yeah, let's hear. Hold on.
That's awesome.
Hold on one second here.
Oh, I could tell these are funny. Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Exactly. Oh wow, this is what happened. Wow.
So
just gave them the stick to beat us, and we had no idea. I know people that love to talk about, they love Walmart, and I have to always like keep my, I don't want to just like blurt it out, but you know what I'm saying? Some people really love these stores. And even my mom one day was like, oh, something's going out of business. And I was like, and she was so sad. And I was like, yo, no, be happy. Be happy. We want like the small businesses to rise and those to fall.
Lady Knievel's, my alpha male and I want to have a nuclear family, but time is running real short for me.
Oh, no. Don't
Neither of us grew
like
up under
that.
a nuclear family structure either. Our moms ruled.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Well, I wish you the best, Lady Knievel. And Karen,
right.
No matter what your whatever issues were, you know we love you. You know we support you. You know, whatever, we got your back. We got your back, no matter what you're going through.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch up with you, Karen. Catch up, you know. Yeah, but we love you, Karen. You're our sister.
This woman here, it's like a 6 or 9 minute video. I'm not going to play it because I know you got to go here shortly because I'm going to get some memes in, obviously. Okay. And but this woman here,
and be stressed about it.
She brings up an amazing point, and she's talking about the Great Awakening and talking about like what's happening now and talking about kind of how it's happening, and she relates it to like pockets in the government. Like there's certain like in the CIA or the NSA and other governments, like clandestine type operations, everybody has like a role, and nobody knows everybody else's role. Like you only get a certain amount of information, and that's it. You don't know what Joe Schmo on floor 7 gets. You don't know what Sally gets on floor 3. You only have enough information to do your job. Like that's it. Like there's that compartmentalization. And she puts this so beautifully. She puts it like why so many people are waking up, because she states, and I don't know if this is exactly how she said it, but you have whatever information you have. Your neighbor has whatever information they have, and your politicians, your whatever, everybody has all this different information. And when you start seeing this, and you have like a dot of information here, and you don't think much about it, but then you see something a couple days later, it makes you think about this other dot of information that you have, and now you've connected those 2 dots. So,
I see.
and then that process keeps happening over and over. Like once you have those 2 dots connected, then somebody else says something or finds out something or whatever and connects those dots together. And she just does an amazing job of explaining that. And it is just, it's beautiful. And I wish I would play the whole thing, but I'm not going to.
Oh, wow. I would love to hear part of it. Oh my gosh. Now you got me on.
Well, you know what time it is.
I know.
Let's see. God, there's so many good ones. What do I want to start with? We'll start with Anderson Vanderbilt Cooper here.
Oh, gosh.
Thank you, We the Media, for that one, by the way. I'm not even going to say anything about this one. This was perfect.
That's cute. Perfect. Oh, wow.
And if you don't get it, go get an incubator baby or something. I don't know.
Mr. President, thank you. At the end of such a momentous event,
All right. I'm going to continue the Martha's Vineyard theme from last week, too, just FYI.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't know the whole thing about Martha's Vineyard, how 50 illegals completely threw their world upside down.
But you know what?
I live 8 minutes away from here. And when I leave tonight, I got 3 miles away, Dr. Oz in his mansion in New Jersey. You've got a friend and you have an ally. Send me to Washington, D.C.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I have no words.
Can I just say that of all the idiots, in all the idiot ages, in all the idiot worlds, you stand alone, my friend.
Sorry. That's cute. Oh gosh, these are funny. Wow. Oh my goodness. It's sad though. That was sad because it's so true.
Meathead, 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 the meathead, meathead, the meathead, the meathead, meathead, the meathead, 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 meathead. You are a meathead. A meathead, dead from the neck up.
Wow, unbelievable. That guy.
Oh, and I before I show this one, I do want to say this statement. I am so freaking happy for the people of Italy. I am beside myself with happiness for the people of Italy. The people of Italy spoke yesterday, and the person that should be leading that country got elected yesterday. And this woman is amazing. I am so glad she won. Anybody that the deep state hates is somebody that I love. And to put it in perspective, the woman who's the head of the European Union came out and said not that long ago that basically if they elect this woman, there's going to be hell to pay. Like it's like they're threatening the people of Italy to elect the person that they want to elect.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
Screw you, deep state, and congratulations, Italy. So now with that Italy thing in your head, I'll show this one.
Not
Oops.
me. Media. Oops. Wow. Amazing. So they think the woman is a Nazi? They're accusing her of
No,
something?
they're just like mocking the media and the people that believe everything the media says. So now they just
Right.
like, this is kind of a reusable meme. Every time something else the media is like they're calling people Nazis or they don't like them or whatever, they just
Right.
switch the chip from that thing. It was
Oh,
Ukraine
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever before. And then now it's
Right.
like this Italian woman who's going to do an amazing job for Italy. Now she's a Nazi, or
Oh,
you know.
I see. It's
So they
the
forgot about Putin. They removed the Putin chip. Now they're putting in the Italian woman Nazi chip.
Right. Yep. It's
I put this one in
projection.
for Julie. I put this in. If Julie, if you're still on, I put this one in for you.
That's so great. Oh my gosh, Sean is there. Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
And I missed all the Italian political stuff. I'll have to catch up. I'm so behind on the politics. But that's interesting. Very interesting.
Greatest arrogance of all, save the planet.
And if you save the planet.
What? Are these fucking people kidding me? Save the planet? We don't know how to take care of ourselves yet.
We're saving the planet with record $360 billion.
I'm tired of these white, liberal, bourgeois, liberal white people who think the only thing wrong with this planet is there aren't enough bicycle paths.
To save the planet and generate jobs and cleaner air and cleaner water and jobs and security for our country.
The planet has been through a lot worse than us for a long time. Been through earthquakes, volcanoes, plate tectonics, continental drift, solar flares, sunspots, magnetic storms, the magnetic reversal of the poles, bombardments for hundreds of thousands of years by comets and asteroids and meteors, sandstorms, erosion of all kinds, cosmic radiation, worldwide fires, worldwide floods, recurring ice ages.
But I'm not walking away from $360 billion in support for saving the planet for our children.
Planet isn't going anywhere. We are.
Great. Oh, yeah. He was a definite truth teller.
And if you don't understand this one, I don't know if I can explain it to you on this show, but
I can't believe he said that.
and he did say that, folks, for all you doubters, every freaking media outlet, even the ones that are controlled narrative, has the video clip of him saying
So they
that.
didn't memory hole it, you're saying? They couldn't stop it, right? It's out, right? On the mainstream, is it out? She was well. You know what? I'm so over this clown show. I can't with him. That's awesome.
And Lady Knievel hit it on the head too. Generate jobs at a vodka factory for Nancy. lady, I'm going to show you something, lady. You hit it on the head, lady. When she talks about the first time she talks about the billions of dollars that they stole from the American people again to go money launder in Ukraine and then bring back to whatever companies they want to support that give them money for their organizations and their stocks and everything else. But watch her face. I'm going to pause it when just watch her facial expression.
And to save the planet.
What? Are these fucking people kidding?
Hold on.
Greatest arrogance of all, save the planet.
And to save the planet.
What? Are these fucking people
Hold on.
kidding me? Save the planet? We don't know how to take care of ourselves yet.
We're saving the
Right
planet. Record $360 billion.
Just look at that. That is like
She says that number
record
like
360 billion. I've never stolen that much money before in my life. It's incredible to be a part of this administration. We're just giving money away like it's not ours. Like future generations are going to owe all this crap.
real. She probably sent it over in ice cream containers or
Yeah. I love this compilation because it's true. And this is why I think sometimes we're not going to make it, because I bet he wished he had a hat. Of course, his hat's on backwards and he's shielding his eyes. I bet he wishes he had an umbrella and he's holding his umbrella over his head instead of opening it. I bet he wishes he had a truck and he's got a board that he's holding outside the window instead of in the bed of the truck.
wow, that's a good analogy for. Oh boy,
So are we going to make it? We'll see. But this is what's happening right now. Karl Marx, the founder of communism, this is the very foundation, and you can see this very clearly right now. Accuse your enemy of what you are doing as you are doing it. Create confusion.
That's so wicked, so wicked. And this is really who
This is gaslighting 101.
Yeah, this is like all of these enemies. I chased all the herrings, and you think that they're all separate, but Nazis and those Marxists and where they all come from in that area of the world that's all erupting right now in wars. So we have had them. The house drinker. The house drinker. It's on the house, right? She said drinks for everyone in the Ukraine. It's on the house. You have to laugh, right?
You have to laugh. You absolutely have to laugh. And that's kind of the stance I've taken over the last year or so.
Yeah.
You have to laugh. You absolutely.
There's no other way to do this. You've got to laugh. Find
Because,
ways.
hold on here. It's funny you should say that. I'll play one more.
I want to feel like it's raining on me. Okay.
I mean, if that doesn't say it, come on. And you have people like Beto down in Texas.
Hey, we're inviting you to join me for a run bright and early in Corpus Christi. All are welcome. We're looking forward to seeing you out.
Oh, gosh. So detached from reality.
I'm telling you, these people right now in Congress, especially her and Kinzinger or whatever, these people can cry on a dime and they can take any subject and just like,
Yeah, I believe they've been trained, a lot of them, in acting like schools and stuff. I think it's part of the
chode and a half. That's right, Sean. I'm glad somebody else besides me knows what a chode is. I used to say that all the time, but of course I got a little older, but that's like something I haven't heard in years was chode, but I'm glad somebody knows that.
Tell us what it means. It sounds really
It's just a derogatory, like a taint, or like if you guys know what a taint is, but it's that area between your whatever private parts in your butthole. Like
I've never.
see, you asked.
I know. Okay, so it's. Oh gosh. Oh, this has been so much fun. I gotta run.
And Jennifer's. I'm going to end with this because I know you've never seen this.
I want to stay.
You've
but
never seen this, and she swore I would never let her show her this. But
Oh no, no! You ruined my day now.
good luck with your training tonight.
I can't. Bye, everybody. I love you. No, I won't. I won't. All right. Bye, everybody. I'll see you soon.
Goodbye, Jennifer.
Bye, John. Thank you. Love you all.
Love y'all. See you. See you next time.
See you around. Okay.
Well, everybody that stuck around for this whole crazy clown show today, thank you very much. We appreciate the support. And yeah, I know I embarrassed my wife, lady. I know. I always do, apparently. But next show, let's try this. I've got a few ideas, but I want to do something similar that Jennifer does. We can have up to 10 people on this show. So I think what I'll do is next time is we'll start with a subject and start talking about whatever. And then I'll drop the link for a guest in the chat. So if you want to hop on with us and talk about whatever you want to talk about, we'll do that. So like Karen, if you want to jump on, Julie, if you want to jump on, Joseph, Sean, Molly, whoever. I know Karen. I'd love to have you on, Karen. And if you can maybe coerce Girl Code into coming on too, if Karen, if you know how to get a hold of her. If not, no big deal. So anyway, with that being said, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And we'll next week we'll go back to 7 o'clock. This week we just ran a little bit late for some personal reasons. But so we'll go back to 7 next week instead of 8. And if you have any suggestions for the show, whatever, put them in the comments or any subjects you want to talk about, let us know. But until next week, love you guys, and stay healthy, stay happy, and don't let Clown World get to you. God's got this, and we're gonna get through this, and it's gonna be great. So love y'all, and until next time, stay frosty.